Hey y'all, welcome back to Collectible Stonks. If this is your first time on this channel and you like seeing the financial side of collectibles, consider hitting that subscribe button as I have several other flesh and blood videos in the works. So today I wanted to kind of talk about the cold foil weapon promo market and how it seemingly exploded overnight. You see, just a couple of weeks ago, these same cold foil weapons were selling for between $40 to $60 each, but now they've gone up to around the $80 to $120 range for each one. This is absolutely mind-blowing considering how quickly the prices on these have changed, and I'm starting to believe that the closer we get to Monarch, the more prices keep going up due to the amount of hype and the amount of new players likely joining the game. To give some slight background information, there are a total of 8 different cold foil promo weapon cards that you could get during Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising's release windows. These were the buy a box promos, and you would receive 1 cold foil per box that you purchased. Now, on the official Flesh and Blood website, these promos are categorized under armory event promos, which typically mean you would receive these for participating in your local game store weekend armory events. However, the packaging on these specifically call them buy a box promos, so I'm just going to continue categorizing them as such. Anyways, these promos seem to have pretty decent supply, given that the cards were not going up in pricing too much over the last couple of years since release. Even when the big TCG boom happened, these cards tended to stay below the $50 mark, and some were even selling for around $30 depending on the class popularity and the current meta in the game. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, all of a sudden the prices just seem to have more than doubled overnight. What were once $40 cards, they're now selling for upwards of $100. Just take the Warrior Weapon Dawnblade. Only a few weeks ago, this card was selling for around $45 to $50. Now you're lucky if you can find it for anything less than $100 to $120. Just last week, I purchased the Nebula Blade Cold Foil promo for my Rune Blade deck, which cost me $45. And now, this week, the lowest listing on TCG Player is $90. That's literally double what I paid for my card last week, which is why I was completely surprised when I noticed that all the other weapons also seemingly went up out of nowhere. Same thing happened with Crucible of Aetherweave. I bought it for around $50 a couple weeks ago, and now the lowest listing available is $138. Like holy crap, bro. This to me is definitely correlated with Monarch releasing in a couple of weeks, and the game seeing a huge influx of new players in preparation for it. It seems to me like the new players are now purchasing these cold foil weapons because they were extremely cheap compared to the other cold foils, and while they are promos, these cold foils they're extremely beautiful cards that are typically reserved for armory events, tournaments, or first edition boxes. I'm sure most of these cards will be used for playing, which is awesome, but man, y'all got to keep your eyes on this market. It quite literally exploded overnight, and it seemed to me a while ago that this would be the case, given that at any given time there were only a few listings of these up for sale, and people were consistently purchasing them. So hopefully with Monarch there are more buy a box cold foil weapon promos, or just buy a box cold foils in general, because these seem to be the most accessible form of cold foils for new and existing players. This helps regular players to get a cold foil without having to break the bank on first edition cards, which not only helps save the player's bottom line, but it also allows them to experience a premium cold foiled card that is typically reserved for more well-funded players and investors. This has been Collectible Stonks. Thanks again for checking out this video. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting that like button, and if you would like to watch more content like this, consider hitting that subscribe button too, as I still have plenty of videos in the works for Flesh and Blood, Pokemon, Digimon, and MetaZoo as well. Thank you guys for all the support.